Asian American woman took it upon herself and she felt it was necessary for she to educate someone. And the only person she think she can literally educate in this time and seasons are Black Americans. You know, Black Americans are the talk of town. Black Americans are the only ones that every single person can literally just wake up to educate. Anyways, let's continue. So this woman took it upon herself to remind Black Americans what Barack Obama said, and at the end of the day, what will literally be coming for them. Now, all of this, mind you, is to center on the fact that Black Americans decide that they are not coming out. So Asian woman not see reasons why she need to come educate Black Americans. But what she never saw coming was the F around and find out moment of her life. Because the last time I checked, your community need advice, Latinos need advice, Hispanics need advice. In fact, advise African people and also try your possible best to advise Somalians. Because all of you will just wake up because you just want to support Somalians, knowing fully well that Somalians has never one day represent themselves with Black Americans. In fact, they choose whiteness because at the end of the day, they think proximity to whiteness, voting for the orange man, can actually keep them in Minnesota. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. With that being said, let's go watch and I'll be back with commentaries. Let's go see what's up.
His wife apes. Obviously, he calls all the African American apes. If that doesn't bother you and you want to continue to rest, then be my guest. I mean, that is diabolical to all your people, honestly.
I don't know who she is, sis. My first time ever seeing her is in that video where well-read black girl was getting her ass tuned together. All I got to say is that she need to worry about her own community because Donald Trump has been continuously attacking her community since he came down the escalator back in 2016. He called them rapists and murderers. Said Mexico wasn't sending their best. Told the world that they were poisoning the blood of this country. Called Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage. Furthermore, we all know that she doesn't care that Donald Trump called the Obamas apes. She doesn't care that Donald Trump calls black people apes. She didn't care when Donald Trump insulted black countries and called them shithole countries. She didn't have anything to say. Furthermore, she needs to worry about her own community because after all of the insults and disrespect that Donald Trump has hurled at her community, they went into the voting booth to overwhelmingly vote for Donald Trump. So she can leave black people alone. She got her own community to worry about.
The fact that you don't diabolical to all your people.
Now, real quick, what's diabolical is that somebody is always trying to spin the narrative of how black Americans, indigenous Americans should feel about what others have to say according to how we should feel, how we should think, what we should say, what we should do. One thing about it, the narrative being spent on how we should do those things is over, my dear. Because him doing that, the president saying that the Obamas look like gorillas and monkeys and stuff like that, we know that's not true. And the fact of the matter is, for years, we've been fighting and doing all kinds of stuff, and it wasn't y'all problem. So us getting out there in the street because of what somebody got to say, it's just not our problem. It's just not our problem. And that's for real. And this is not to throw a jab at you, but I think you got this one wrong, boo. You know? When we sit down and say we resting, then we wrong. If we up and we fighting, we wrong. We just want to be left alone. Bottom line. So yeah, it's just not our problem. Yep.
The fact that you don't care that the president, honestly.
I can't believe this shit. It's the emphasis on the apes that you keep doing for me. That tells me a lot about your character. But I digress. The nerve and audacity you have to sit there and talk about we don't give a fuck about our people. We give a fuck about our people. That's why we not going outside. The ancestors have spoken. They told us to sit down because they know that if we go out there in the streets, they're going to unalive us. They're unaliving white people right now. What the hell you think they're going to do to black people? You think we going to go outside because the orange buffoon said something racist? We're not going outside. We are resting. We don't give a fuck what that orange buffoon says and what you say. We are resting. Period. What the fuck? Y'all are tripping. 400 years of blood, sweat, and tears that black people have given to this country. And then you want to get at us because we want to rest? If you don't go sit your ass down.
Black people commit a majority of the crime. It's in the statistics. People say this dumbass shit with confidence and with smugness, like numbers exist in a vacuum. Like statistics just fell out of the sky with no history, no context, and no hands shaping them. Why does that crime exist in the first place? You don't get to point at an outcome and ignore the conditions that produced it. If you want to talk about crime, buddy, you have to talk about environment, you have to talk about access, you have to talk about policy, you have to talk about systemic failure and systemic intentions. You have to talk about who had options and who never did. Crime does not grow out of skin color. Crime grows where opportunity is starved. So if you want to say that black people commit a majority of the crimes, then what was the ethnicity of the people on Epstein's island? Oh wait, what were the ethnicities of most of those people fucking kids? I know some people are gonna say, what, Jay-Z, Pusha T? Shut the fuck up. I'm talking about the majority of people there. Oh, okay. Like I said, man, you don't get generations of redlining, blocked wealth, segregation, stolen land, lynching, rape, murder, stolen labor, stolen dignity, stolen memory, and then act shocked when the consequences show up in numbers you don't like. Entire neighborhoods were designed to fail. Not accidentally, not naturally, intentionally. Schools were underfunded, jobs moved out, banks refusing loans, homes devalued on purpose, police over-patrolling instead of protecting, prisons waiting like a conveyor belt, and then the same fucking system turns around and has the fucking stupid-ass audacity to say, see, look at the crime. No, that's a setup. That is not the truth. That is a fucking setup, right then and there. People love statistics when they absolve them of empathy. They hate history when it explains those statistics. And I'm gonna be real, crime is not exclusive to black communities. White-collar crime steals far more money, far more innocence, far more lives, and destroys far more lives and destabilizes entire communities, but it does not get framed the same way because it wears suits instead of hoodies and ski masks. Nobody calls poverty a crime factory when it hits white communities. Nobody calls addiction a moral failure when it looks like them. Nobody calls desperation culture when it benefits them. And no, this is not about excusing crime. This is about understanding cause instead of worshiping consequence. Because if you actually cared about reducing crime, you would not be obsessed with blaming black people. You would be obsessed with fixing the conditions that make crime a rational survival response. You would talk about education that is not designed to warehouse kids. You would talk about economic mobility that is not blocked by zip code. You would talk about mental health support that does not require money people don't have. You would talk about community investment instead of constant punishment. But that would require admitting the system failed, and more importantly, that it failed on purpose. So when people say, it's just statistics, what they're really saying is, I don't want to look at what created those numbers. Because once you do, you can't unsee it. And once you see it, you're responsible. That's the part people are running from. And before anybody twists this into making excuses, let me be clear. Understanding the root is not the same as removing accountability. People are still responsible for their actions. I'm sorry, it's true. But systems are responsible for the conditions they create. Two things can be true at the same time. Accountability without context becomes cruelty. Context without accountability becomes chaos. Real change lives in the uncomfortable middle where we stop lying about why things look the way they do and actually fix what we broke.
So my previous speech got taken down for some odd fucking reason, and that's all good, but I'm about to re-record it again because the truth needs to be out there, and we need to stop lying to ourselves and pretending we don't see the pattern when it's right fucking there. It's right there, and everybody knows it, but nobody wants to say it out loud. So when a Latina gets angry, people call it spicy, sexy, ella es una tóxica, right? When a white woman gets angry, oh, poor Sally, oh my gosh, poor her. She's just having such a bad day. Oh my gosh, she must be going through so much. Oh my gosh, poor her. When a white man gets angry, he's stressed, he hit his breaking point, he's having a bad day, it's mental health. But when a black woman gets angry, she's ghetto, she's ratchet, she's loud, she's aggressive, she's masculine, she's too much. When a black man shows anger, hurt, frustration, grief, or pain, now he's violent, now he's dangerous, now he's a threat, now people clutch their bags, people get scared, people cross the street. Now people reach for excuses to justify why they never wanted to understand him in the first place. And do not tell me it's about behavior. Do not tell me it's about tone. Do not tell me it's about how it's expressed, because the same emotions coming out of different bodies get labeled completely differently depending on the skin they're housed in. That is conditioning. That is not a coincidence, and that is not fair. Black pain is not allowed to be human pain in this society. It's only allowed to exist if it's quiet, palatable, digestible, and non-threatening to everybody else's comfort. The second it spills over, the second it raises its voice, the second it stops asking politely to be acknowledged, it gets criminalized, it gets demonized, and people want to talk about anger issues without ever talking about where that anger comes from. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about generations of trauma stacked on top of generations of trauma, stacked on top of generations of trauma, and then pretending the body, the nervous system, the psyche, and the soul are not keeping score. You don't get to enslave people, lynch people, beat people, rape people, eat people, segregate people, lock people out of resources, destabilize families, over-police communities, undereducate schools, poison neighborhoods, and then turn around and have the fucking audacity to say, why are they so angry? What the fuck do you mean, why are they so angry? That question alone is disrespectful as hell, because anger does not come out of nowhere. Intensity does not come out of nowhere. Pain does not come out of nowhere. What you are seeing is not aggression. You are seeing unprocessed grief. You're seeing suppressed rage. You are seeing pain that never had a safe place to land. And the psychological truth is that when trauma does not get expressed, it does not disappear. It compresses, it hardens, it builds pressure. So when it finally comes out, it does not come out softly, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly how trauma works. That is not a character flaw. Especially trauma that was never acknowledged, never protected, never held, never understood, never listened to, never given the safe space to express itself healthily, and never healed, is the price of truth. And black people have been paying that price for centuries while everybody else gets to look away, minimize, debate, deny, deflect, reject, or get defensive. And yeah, I already know what some of y'all are thinking. Why is he speaking on this? Why does he care so much? This isn't his place. I'll get to that. To all you ignorant, bigoted, out of touch, and racist humans, bro, I got a few words for y'all. Leave black people the fuck alone. Leave black people the fuck alone. Literally. You know what the fuck black people want? And I'm saying this as somebody who has listened to my friends and people that I care about in my personal life who have opened up to me about this shit. All they want, literally, all they want is to be listened to, understood, acknowledged with open ears, an open mind, and awareness for their history, pain, culture, trauma, struggles, mistreatment, hurt, injustices, and treated fairly and done justice for all the psychological, emotional, historical, spiritual, mental, physical, and internal damage, pain, trauma, hurt, abuse, rape, harvesting, feasting that they've endured for centuries, genetically, ancestrally, and generationally, and continue to endure to this day. Not minimized, denied, dismissed, or rejected. And then, on top of that, to be left the fuck alone. That's it! Leave them the fuck alone! They've been telling y'all this shit for centuries. Why the fuck does it have to take somebody outside of their group to say something for this shit to be taken seriously when they've been saying this shit for centuries? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. And it shouldn't be this way. Now, leaving them alone does not mean excluding them from shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying stop targeting them and oppressing them and hurting them and blaming them for the stupidest shit. Leave them the fuck alone. Acknowledge the pain, do something about it in the present moment to enforce change, and keep it pushing. Literally. They're tired, man. They're exhausted from being misunderstood, from being demonized in the media. They're tired, man. They're tired. They're exhausted. Black people do not want to be dissected, stereotyped, infantilized, criminalized, fetishized, targeted, or turned into talking points every election cycle. They don't want performative allyship, hashtags with no fucking follow through, or sympathy that disappears the second accountability is required. They want what they've been asking for the entire time: to be heard without being argued to be believed without being interrogated, to be treated fairly without having to prove their humanity, to live without being targeted, to exist without being blamed for systems they did not build. And somehow that gets twisted into something radical. And the reason this keeps going is not because black people have not explained themselves well enough. It's because too many people benefit, consciously or unconsciously, from not listening. Silence protects comfort, denial protects power, minimization protects the status quo.
Black people are still resting, and they're gonna be resting for quite some time, okay? Because I don't think y'all understand the severity. Like, I think that there's some people out here that think that black people are playing and that we'll eventually get over this and we'll get back to work. No. We will get back to work in our community. Black Americans will be okay because we put in the work. It's the rest of the people of color groups that have not put in the work because they came to this country with rights that black Americans fought and bled and died for. So when black people say that we are resting, that is what we mean. It is not just this election. It is not just this. It is a culmination of so many disappointments from our existence on this stolen land. Okay? Because let's be clear. America is a stolen land built by stolen people. At the end of the day, that is what America is. Black Americans decided that they wanted to make something out of nothing. And that is what we have done for hundreds of years, and have literally laid a table together for everybody to be equitable. Okay? Equitable. All we want is equity, not revenge, not a leg up in the world, but equity across the board. And because America said that that's not what she wants, everybody is going to have to reap what they sow. Black people have been sowing seeds of equity, civil rights movements, voting rights movements. We have been sowing good seeds. So over the next 4 to 8 or however many years, Black Americans are going to be okay. It's all the other groups that we were worried about. But y'all let us know y'all not worried about yourselves, so we can't. Can we talk? It's been a while. I know. But Black women, we're still resting. Yep. Black people as a whole, we are tightening up our ship. Black people as a whole, we are building community amongst each other. Everything else around us is just a distraction at this point, because we warned, we shared information, infographics, data, and statistics of what might happen. And clearly, people did not believe that fat meat is greasy. And that video that I just shared was a couple of days after the election, after I had gotten all the tears out, after I had cried it out, after I had prayed it out, all the things. And I said, this was different because the levee of trust broke all the way, right? Black people have lived in a certain, Black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved, have lived on this stolen land for quite some time, and we understand patterns. We understand when the shift in the atmosphere changes, and we move accordingly. And what we're seeing is we have conditioned ourselves to do that. We have conditioned ourselves to pivot when the temperature changes. And a lot of people now are seeing the temperature change, not just feel it, but see it in real time, and they don't know how to react, and they don't know how to deal. So anybody that is getting on this app trying to tell Black women to do anything, trying to tell the 80% of Black American men to do anything right now other than do what we've been doing the past 10, 11, almost 12 months, you're part of the problem, not the solution. I hate to say it, but some of us ain't gonna make it because we too busy trying to argue with stupid. We too busy trying to argue with stupid. And I just refuse. This is your friendly reminder. We know how we got here. Our rest is important. How we mobilize look different. a lot of the revolution will not be televised. And that's why a lot of folks is mad, because they don't know what we doing and it scares them. Okay? So while you all are building out your community, while you are tightening up the ship, whether you all are saving more money, because when I tell you, I get annoyed when I have to spend any amount of money, because I have gotten so, like, I work hard for my money, and I'm not just about to give it to anybody or anything, because it's apparent y'all don't care about my money. Y'all care about my money, but y'all don't care about me, and that's a problem. It's some places I don't go no more. It's some people I don't see anymore, because at the end of the day, we have got to guard our gates. We have got to guard our peace. We have got to guard our energy, because the more chaos ensues, the more dangerous people get. The more, people do stuff because they just can't pinpoint what Negroes is doing, and they mad about it. So at the end of the day, make sure that you are moisturizing. SPF is necessary for us. Drink your 6 to 8 glasses of water or more. Make sure that you are getting in the gym. As I talk to you, I'm talking to myself, because we in for a long ride, but it is nothing that our ancestors have not done that we cannot do again and better, to make sure that when we come on the other side of this, we don't have to, this can literally just be a lesson. But this is a hard lesson, because now everybody is learning it, because y'all just didn't want to believe Black people who have been oppressed in this land for quite some time. Yep, slavery is ended, but like, systemic racism is everywhere. And now y'all are figuring out that racism, classism, otherism, is all on the same boat now. So, y'all be well.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and that is all I got for this particular video. Every single person wants to be hot when Black Americans say they are arrested. Every single person wants to be mad. Every single person wants Black Americans to be at the war front. Every single person wants Black Americans to carry their matter on their head. While at the end of the day, when it comes to Black Americans, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody literally cares. They will tell them, fight your battles. Oh, after all, they are foundational Black Americans. I think they know what to do. And after all, we are not citizens of this country. We are just immigrants. We are just living here. So what is the point of me going to protect for Black Americans? What is the point for me going to show forth for Black Americans? But whenever it is affecting them, whenever it is now a thing that they should be worried about, they will now have the time, the audacity, the effrontery to set camera and want to educate Black Americans. They want to now teach Black Americans. They want to lecture them. They want to make them understand that, oh, Black Americans, you guys say you're resting. You guys said you're not coming out. Have it at the back of your mind that this is actually not going to happen to anybody alone. You people too can be deported. Remember the history of Black Americans. Remember how you people came in, blah, 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 blah. That is when everybody wants to educate. That is when everybody wants to be a content creator. That is when everybody wants to set their camera to say the shit that they want to say. Let me make this clear. Let me make it more clearer. Black Americans are still resting, and Black Americans will continue to rest. Now, I'm giving flowers and credit to that particular guy that took his time to break down and explain to them in details why Black Americans will never show up. They will never show up. I'm talking of this particular guy. He makes sure he let them understand that Black Americans will never show up. He said Black pain is not allowed to be human beings. And there are a lot of things tying towards that particular statement. When it's Black people's pain, nobody cares. When it's Black people pain, it's okay. They're going to get over it. They're going to get out of it. When Black people will be talking and be telling you, this country, we built this country. We have been here. We understand the lyrics and how things work. Instead of going towards this direction, do things like this. You will say no. You don't want. You can never take advice from them. But now when it's time, you want Black Americans to come through for you. They are rested. Oh my God. I love the Fafo this woman got. I love the response. especially from Tabitha, which is Tabitha Speaks Politics. I so much love that woman, and credits to all creators in this particular video. She said, worry about your community. This is not the first time Trump is saying things like this. Trump has also said a lot of things to you guys. In fact, the ones that Trump has literally said to you people is even worse than the ones that we are experiencing. In fact, you people are even one of the most hated angle. Do you get? And you don't worry about that. You don't think about setting your camera and talking to him. You don't think about setting your camera and appealing or telling white folks what you want to tell them. And you're not worried about black community. You're worried about people that are not going to be deported, are not getting deported. You're worried about people that built the country. You're worried about people that understood the politics and everything of the country. That's the people you're worried about. You're worried about people that have gone through segregation, Jim Crow, redlining, just name it. Name it. Slavery. Are they the people you're worried about? People that went through all of those things and were still able to stand. Were still able to face you. Were still able to talk. Were still able to build things for themselves. Were still able to establish their community. Were still able to love, value, and cherish themselves. Is that the people that you literally need to be worried about? Sis, you need to worry about yourself. You need to worry about your community. You need to start thinking about where you will be going to next, because the moment Trump is done with Somalians, he's going to bounce on some of you. In fact, he's already bouncing one after the other. The Latinos are crying, Hispanics are crying, Asians are crying, Mexicans are crying. Somalians in Minnesota that said they will never leave, they don't want to go there, they are deporting them. So what are you saying? Worried about yourself. Set camera and talk and let the world hear your voice about yourself, not black people. You people always want to make black people a subject matter whenever you have the slightest opportunity. Whenever there's the slightest opportunity, the only people they want to make the subject of the whole matter is black Americans. They say they are resting. Why would they be resting? Are they not supposed to be at the war front? Oh, don't forget, after now, it's going to be your turn. You're also going to get deported. After all, you guys said that black Americans do not have where to go. So since they don't have where to go, they are homeless, they are fatherless, they are motherless, they are ancestralless, then worry about your community. It's not too difficult to understand. Because I'm just so sick and tired of seeing some of these people just setting camera to say trash. Well, your own house is on fire. Imagine, my house is on fire. I'm supposed to put off the fire in my house first before checking another person's own that is on fire. But no, you leave your own house that is on fire and you're trying to look out for the ones that the flame, their own is not even on fire. It's just... Let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode, and this is just for educational purposes. We do not support any form of violence here, not to come here and ruffle on anyone's shoulder. Anyways, I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing my videos. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be seeing and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. And let me know your honest thoughts in the comment section.